All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage, joined by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today on this beautiful Wednesday. So, as always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. Real quick, just to make sure, if you can hear me okay, drop me one in the chat. Beautiful. Appreciate it. All right. So let's our credo. Um, Boom. Mental preparation, the inner circle credo. Accept all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome. Center yourself in body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading. Trust in your education, training, and trading skills and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing. Obey your trading strategy. Avoid decision based on greed and fear or fear. Never looking back, stopping once your trade has commenced. All right, let's mentally prepare ourselves to dive in and get to it. So let's take a look at things from a fundamental perspective, and then we will dive into the charts. Tons of activity this morning. I love to see it. Um, so excited to see what we can take advantage of this morning. So let's slide over to trading economics. And Benny, good morning, bro.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. Ryan, how are you this morning, sir?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Glad to be here. How about yourself?
Oh man, doing great, doing great. It's a quiet morning. Kids got the day off from school because of the weather, so everybody's sleeping in.
Man, Logan said two. This is day two.
Oh man, so she got it yesterday too. Yeah, my kids
Yeah.
were wearing their pajamas backwards the other day, hoping that they got hoping that they got these days off. Yeah, I guess it worked out today. So
That's what's up. Cool deal, man. Cool deal. Yeah, they definitely are lucky, Joy. They get all kinds of days off and all kind of stuff. Surprisingly, it's kind of really the first couple of days for Logan school this year. They haven't had it as much as they did last year, but I foresee it happening more since they got extra time now. So, but let's dive in. China Q4 GDP growth below estimates. Chinese economy expanded 5.2% year on year in Q4, faster than 4.9% growth in Q3, but less than the market forecast of 5.3%. For the full year, country's GDP grew by 5.2%, topping the government's target of around 5, but the slowest in over 3 decades, excluding pandemic years due to prolonged property crisis and weak consumption. All right, so UK inflation. Annual inflation rate in the UK unexpectedly rose to 4% in December 2023 from a nearly 2-year low of 3.9 in November and above forecast of 3.8. The first increase in the inflation rate in 10 months, with the biggest upward contribution coming from prices of alcohol and tobacco, mainly due to a rise in tobacco duty and recreation uh, in culture. Da, 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 da. It goes through all your deals: DVD, computer software, computer games, sports equipment, toys, holidays. Inflation also increased for clothing and footwear. Um, on the other hand, inflation slowed for food and non-alcoholic beverages driven by milk, cheese, and eggs. So your dairy products, health, restaurants, and hotels. Core CPI rose by 0.6%, leaving an annual rate unchanged at 5.1. So we got an uptick in inflation, right? Coming out of the UK. So something to watch. Look at those pound pairs. Kind of makes sense from what we're seeing on the charts. Then we had Brent crude oil slips to set under $77. Waller. Federal Reserve kept the funds rate steady. Um, Policymakers said that the recent indicators suggest that economic growth has slowed and job gains have moderated, but remain strong, and the unemployment rate has remained low. Inflation eased over the past year, but remains elevated. The central bank also published new projections. The GDP growth is expected at, is this the right one? I don't know if that's the right article for that. But Waller basically said that they won't move as fast as expected in cutting rates. There's no reason for the Fed to move quickly, right? Inflation is gradually moving down, but temper the thoughts of rate cuts coming sooner rather than later. But they could come second half of the year and looking at around 75 basis points on the cuts. So that's what came from his conversation yesterday, which gives a boost to the dollar from that perspective. The other thing, I'm working on a little article for you guys, but coming out of Japan, their wage negotiations officially kick off today. So we'll watch for these conversations as they evolve. But one of the um, largest, what's the word I'm looking for? Union organizations is really pushing for uh, commitment from all of the companies to come in with a raises annually at around 5%. So this conversation is starting. We'll start to see some things come through. Last year, the actual rate wage growth came in way below what their expectation was. So they really want to push to ensure that those wages are elevated to support the households, the increase in inflation, and ultimately this increase in interest rates. So we could see some volatility in the Japanese yen as these conversations kick off and get going. They'll go through the next month and a half through to March, but they officially have started today. So we'll watch that and see how things go. I'll get a breakdown of this article sent to you guys shortly after the session is finished, but I'll drop it in the chat for you guys now so you can check it out. All right, so that's coming out of Japan. Over to the calendar. Refresh this. And today, right, we see there's a CPI data coming in above expectation. Later on today, we got core retail sales for the dollar, right? Definitely something we want to keep our eyes on as we move through the day. We have more FOMC members coming to the microphone to speak. We'll be interested to see what they have to say about the new data and where we currently stand from a interest rate perspective. Then you have President Lagarde coming at 10:15. And then tonight we got Australia employment rate and unemployment change. All right. So some things that could definitely move the market today. So we'll keep our eyes peeled there. All right. Benny, anything top of mind for you from a fundamental perspective, bro?
No, sir, nothing outside what you covered. I just posted in the chat that conversation that they had with Waller yesterday. So people
Perfect.
could check that out. Yeah, people could check that out when they get a chance. But no, man, nothing outside of what you covered.
All right, cool deal. Team, you guys got anything that you guys have seen or questions about from a fundamental perspective?
I do.
Talk to me.
So I was watching Bloomberg this morning, and this lady that was on there, basically she was in they was asking her, about how GDP moves, that every time my boy had talked, they was like, well, it dipped when he talked, now it's rising when he talked. And she said that it'd be expected, but she was like, they was asking her, well, wouldn't you think that everything will be priced in? And she was indicating that everything is on a strategic like guideline. Why would it be, you know, already priced in when they telling you how they was going, how they was going to combat inflation and everything, and because it's going to be a geopolitical, I forgot how she addressed it, that it was just going to be a volatile year for 2024. So my question is, and I guess I'm trying to get a hammer in my head. How do we distinguish when they're already pricing stuff in or when they're just going with the flow with the data?
Penny, can you grab that one?
When they're pricing stuff in, you can tell that just by the price action on the chart. That's when they're pricing stuff in. That's when you see that chart trending heavily in a particular direction. So like maybe the anticipation of interest rate hikes and things like that. You see it moving on your chart in real time. That's the best I can tell you is that that's usually when you start to see those trends happening, those higher highs or higher lows, or lower
Interest
lows
rate
or
hike.
lower highs, technically. Um, is when you could tell that they're already pricing things in. So that's how I usually tell. Is when
Okay.
you see the momentum pick up in either direction. That's how because when you start to really break down and filter things out, like, well, what could have my charts moving like this right now? And when you go to the fundamentals and you say, oh, they're already pricing in, so they're anticipating uh, whatever it is happening at that time.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And with the geopolitical piece, right? Um, we see that with the multiple wars that are happening. You also have your elections. What did you say? Been like 70 total elections throughout the year this year, something like that.
Correct.
So that from a geopolitical perspective, those are the things that are going to be happening. That's going to add into that volatility and that back and forth action that we could see.
Correct. Because they never wait for things to happen. They do things in anticipation of, right?
Yep.
So they're forward thinking. That's why it's like, for example, when you see a rate hike that occurs, it's like they've already priced that in weeks before. Just how the market's been running. For example, like the S&P, you know, a lot of the momentum that you have been seeing is with the anticipation that the Fed's going to have 6 rate cuts this year, while the Fed is leaning more towards 3. But the rally is occurring because of the anticipation and the probability that they're going to have 6. That's not all of it, but that's one key factor. So you see that them pricing in, the market's running pricing in six rate cuts, you know, this year, and not the 3 that the Fed is projecting. But I tend to lean more towards the Fed. Governor Bailey, for example, was right. Like we see the accelerated, you know, what's going on right now that we just got from the UK data this morning, in
Mhm.
regards to uh, the inflation rate unexpectedly accelerates. Well, Bailey's been holding pretty steadfast in regards to the fact that, hey, we're not going to be too aggressive with the rate cuts, especially early rate cuts, right? So just like in the United States with the bets that, hey, there's going to be a rate cut in March, so that's been priced into the market, but we're going to see what happens.
It's getting clear. I appreciate it.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, cool deal. So any other questions from a fundamental perspective? No. All right, cool deal. DXY. So this is where my chart is on the DXY. Now, Reese made a post in the Discord saying that the DXY broke and closed above 102. Is your chart updated or changed on the DXY?
Mine's still moving sideways along that level.
Still moving sideways too? Okay. It'll be interesting to see how the market opens. Maybe we get a gap or something like that. We'll see what happens here. But on a daily time frame, right, we are in this 80-20 zone on the DXY. So we could definitely see more upward movement there. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit if I can. But there was just still moving sideways, right? Still trying to figure it out. Got back and forth that are happening, got conversations that are occurring. So we shall see what happens as the data continues to come out on the dollar. All right. So not a ton
That's
happening there.
hey Ryan,
Yes, sir.
that's that represents it's 10 like 103, 134
What
right
price
now.
is 103?
Yeah, 103.34.
Okay. Okay.
So that's correct.
Gotcha.
What he said, what he gave. It's hovering back
Gotcha.
and forth.
Just hovering back and
Yep.
forth in the range. Okay.
I'm
All right.
looking at my trading view charts now.
Okay, perfect. Um yeah, I agree, Reese. I agree. Hopefully we can get them to make that happen. But that's where we sit, right? Price is still pressing sideways on the dollar. I want to do a quick update on some of the trades that we've been sitting in. Starting with that Aussie CAD. We're finally getting that movement down. We've been looking at this off the 4-hour time frame. We got a nice bearish break and close at weekly support level that we hadn't been able to break, right? Strong move down. Now we're pulling back. All right. So we'll see if we get a break and a retest and a continuation to the downside. We came just shy of TP1 with that push. So we'll look to see if we can get some more continued downside action there on this Aussie CAD. So with that, coming down to the one, we do have an 80-20 on the retracement. All right. So it'd be interesting to see if we're able to break back above this to give us a deep retracement, or do we just pause here, retest that support level, and then continue moving to the downside. So this one, I'd play this one with a little caution, right? Because that level has held pretty strong from a support perspective. So we could see this hold as resistance and not get that deep retracement here and see this continue that move to the downside. So watch this one and maybe allow this one just to move, right? Because we have that potential for that to hold there, understanding that this has been a strong level overall, right? So 80-20 here, but let's watch and see if we're able to break above. We get a break and retest, then we could see price rise and give us a deeper retracement. But if we don't, right, we'll look for price to continue moving to the downside there. Questions on the Aussie CAD? Nope. All right, cool deal. What's the difference between the DXY price on TradingView and in Smart Trader? It's a different scale, Jeremy. You see here we have numbers in 12,807, where TradingView they have the actual price of the DXY, and that's in the $100 range. So
Correct. And I've never, made a huge deal out of it because I don't trade it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I'm just more
yeah,
so watching the levels.
my charts are moving.
But I do wish they would adjust it. Go ahead and adjust it though.
Correct, right? I definitely wish they would too. But you see here, I've never traded it either, so it works fine for me as well. But you see here the different scale, right? So we're sitting at 103, 347 on the DXY here in Trading View. So it's just a different scale that they have the market prices listed. So that's the difference in the two. All right, and here you got 12,870. Okay. We'll do any other questions? Any other questions on the DXY or the Aussie CAD? Nope. All right. Cool. Let me get back here. What I do want to look at real quick, this is a new one. The Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar, we looked at it yesterday, it came into the support level, right? We're looking to see what price did and how it would react at the 65,389 level, right? We're starting to get a reaction now. As we move through the time frames, we come to the 4 hour, right? And we know the DXY is in a range, pushed into the support level, right? And stayed inside the AB boundary on the 4. Beautiful, almost 80-20 scenario here. Nice deep retracement. So if this level does continue to hold and we get a retracement, right, we could see price start making its way back to the upside here. So let's watch this and see from a longer term perspective. However, when we come down to the 1, we got a shorter term opportunity here on the 1, right? So we got shallow retracement, price pushing to the 118, 127 zone. We're trying to start to make our way out of the zone now. All right, so here's your active 80-20 on the Aussie dollar. See if we get a retracement here and move back at least at 382 level there. Okay, so jot that one down. If it meets your rules, do your thing. All right, questions on the Aussie dollar? Nope. All right, cool.
Nope.
Deal. Peek in on this CAD Swiss. It's slowly trying to make its way. Slowly trying to make its way. Coming here on the 4, right? We had our larger fib, 80-20. Somewhere in here, maybe. Maybe not. Let's drop it down. Didn't pop in for me. So we got our larger fib running there, right? We're trying to move out of the zone, but you see it's just slow moving, right? So we'll see if we're able to break above the 64,112 level and continue making that move to the upside, but still caught in the range there. Like to see a break above that level for that continuation to the upside there on the CAD Swiss. All right, so still taking this time, still sitting there, not a ton of action happening on the CAD Swiss. The Euro Swiss is slowly making its way. So from a daily time frame perspective, we're coming into a previous support level, right? Definitely need to break above that for a continuation higher. So we'll watch and see how price responds here. But as we come down to the 4, you see that level a little bit more clearly here. We came just shy of a 50% retracement here on the move down. So overall, the move is to the downside, right? We're just looking at this retracement that's occurring here. All right. So coming down to the 1, this is where we sit, right? That previous support level is coming in at a 236 retracement level, right? And we're looking for potential a little bit more upside action before we get price to continue moving down. So this has been a slow mover as well, but it's continuing to make those higher lows and higher highs. All right, so we got a nice strong bullish push now coming into that resistance level. See if we're able to break that and make our way to that 94,225 level. Okay, but that's been a nice move out of the zone, right? 76 pips so far. See if we can get to that 102 level at 94,224. Okay, so taking this time, but it's moving in our favor nonetheless. Anybody still sitting in this one to the upside? No,
I'm still holding.
so holding. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that pound yen in a minute. And yep. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. The Euro CAD. EuroCAD. This is an older scenario here, but price has been caught in this range here for quite some time, right? And looking to see if we can get a pullback in a high price and then potentially get short off the higher time frames. So as we come down to the 4, here's our 80-20 scenario. We came just shy of the 382 here, touched that daily resistance level, pushed down into that 118 127 zone, and now we're moving back to the upside. Okay, coming back to this 147, 162 that we've struggled at, right? Would like to see it break above that and continuation to the upside. So it's moving, right? Making higher highs and higher lows, but we're coming into this key resistance level again for what, the 5th, 6th time. So want to see what happens here, see if we're able to break that and get to that 382 and give us that move so then we can prepare for the move back down to the downside. Okay. Yep. All right. So that's what we're looking at there on the Euro CAD. Let me see what this looks like on the one. Just want to look at the fibs to the upside on the 1 hour just to track that move, even though it's been super choppy. Yeah. So there we go there. Okay, we got a 61.8 retracement there, almost a double bottom scenario, trying to push to the upside. So this could give us a move to the upside, get us that 147 level. All right, so that's what it looks like on the 1 hour. Any questions here on the Euro CAD? Is anybody in this one? I don't know if anybody stayed in this one with all the back and forth. Joy still sitting. Cool. Hey David, the link is in the same spot in the community, man, as it has been. All right. Cool. So let's move on. Euro Swiss, Euro CAD, CAD Swiss, Aussie CAD. Got those. This Euro GBP is an interesting one, as always. But took a dive yesterday, right? And we're watching this off the 1 hour. And it did push the D extension here. Boom. Right. So this one did not play out, right? Especially with that pound data that came in this morning, right? Gave that move to the downside, pushed the D extension. So look for a reset. We're also sitting at a level of daily support, right? So we'll watch and see how this one moves if we get a swing of the form and then a push back to the upside. Okay, all good. Stopping profit is still a beautiful thing. So we'll see what the reset looks like on this one. If we bounce back to the 4 hour, right, push down. If we break that level, we got weekly support in line with the 118 and 127 zone on the 4. So we'll continue to track this move to the downside as it continues to go. Maybe we get pullbacks on it, and maybe we don't. Right. Overall, looking at this from a higher time frame perspective, right, this is what the larger fib looks like. 8-6 retracement, right? So ultimately, we could be looking at more downward action here as price tries to break these levels and continue moving down. So we'll watch that and see how things go and see how things come out of the Eurozone, but also see what happens with the pound as well, right? As they are moving a little slower when it comes to the rate cuts, as Benny talked about, right? So they could see a little strength for a little bit longer. So we'll watch that and see how that goes. Okay, so that's the Euro GBP. That one did hit our stop loss. Any questions there?
No, sir.
Nope. All right, cool deal. Yeah, Joy, for sure. All right, let's check out these yens. All right, we'll take a look at the pound yen, which Ann talked about. We talked about it yesterday, right? And how these could continue pushing to the upside as we come into some of these conversations that are kicking off. And you see that happening, right? Strength in the pound. Bank of Japan still hasn't changed anything yet. So it's running long. We finally broke that level 186, 136, right? And we're pushing to the upside. So we'll watch this next monthly resistance level at 188,702 to see how price responds as it gets there. We haven't gotten to 382, right? So we could push into this 118 and 127 zone on the daily time frame and then see price turn over and make its way back down to the downside. So we'll watch that 188,702 level. Coming down to the 4, we do have this 80-20 scenario. However, we're pushing to the D extension here, right? So nice, strong bullish move. We could potentially see on the lower time frames a pullback to retest this level, just as we did here, right? Just as we did here. We got this pullback to retest that B boundary, take off. So watch for a pullback to test that resistance level, and then continued push to the upside, right? Also retesting that uptrend line. Okay, so looking for price to continue moving to the upside with some smaller pullbacks in the process. So as we come down to the 1, right, here we are on the 1, fibs running to the upside. We got a 382 push there, making our way to the D extension, right? So that's all in alignment there. So we could see that action, then continue to push to the upside. Okay, so now as you come down to your lower time frames, look at the 30 and the 15 minute, then the 15 minute. We'll run the fib off the low here, right? And you're just at a B boundary zone here. So it'd be a question of, do we push into this zone, which will be the D extension on the 1 hour, right? We'll drop a line here. At that level and pull that down, right? That 118 level is at the D extension on the 1. All right, so do we push to hit that D extension and push into the 118, 127 zone on the 30 before we get a retracement back down to the downside? So something to watch, pay attention to. We'll see how this one moves from a 30-minute time frame perspective. Coming down to the 15, right, you've already hit your D extension. All right, so you're just looking for a reset here. Okay, so not a ton happening. Nothing's in our sweet spot right now, but we could see that develop on the 30-minute time frame for those that do trade here if we get a push into that zone. All right, but looking long on this one, at least in the short term. Okay, questions on the pound yen? Silver. Okay, cool deal. No questions there. Euro yen, similar story. All right, similar story. So pushing long, right? This is a zone that, I've been watching for a while. Price is pushing into that level. We broke above this daily resistance level at 162.10, right? And we'll continue to make our way long. We'll see what happens as we come into these previous resistance levels that we broke through. But price is pushing to the upside here. Okay. We do have an 80-20 on the weekly time frame, right? But we got this nice retracement that's happening. So we'll continue to watch that. Coming down to your 4, right? You're pushing through the 118, 127 zone now. Okay, so we broke a key daily level of resistance. Another scenario where let's see what happens. We got to see what happens with the yen, with the euro also, but we could see a retest and a continued push to the upside, at least in the short term. Right, but we do have an 80-20 scenario here on the 4. So if you get a break up your trend line, strong bearish break and close, and maybe even look for a retest of that daily level for it to hold below, right? That could be an indicator of price turning over. So we'll watch that from that perspective. But I do look for these to continue making their way to the upside, especially with the conversation regarding inflation and its stickiness. So we'll watch that from that perspective. Okay. But looking for this one to continue pushing to the upside as well, at least in the short term. Okay. Coming down to your one, you see you got a 50% retracement and prices running long. Okay. Prices running long. So we'll watch that and see. We got a D extension here at 162.011. So looking for pullbacks and continuations on this. Okay. Questions on the Euro JPY? No? All right. Cool deal. CAD yen, somewhat of a similar story, still pushing long. Okay. Still pushing long. We'll take this out for now. Still watching this to see what happens with the head and shoulders pattern, but got daily resistance at 109,635. Okay. We know we got triple bottom here at the 618 level, pushing to the upside, but we do have to break above these levels to see that continuation. Right. So this is just a larger range that we've been playing in. Come down to the 4, see that a little bit more closely there. We didn't break that A boundary, stayed inside of it, just barely held at that weekly support, and now we're pushing long. So we'll watch and see what happens at 109,635. On the 1, right, you see price moving to the upside. 50% retracement, matching the extension is just above that daily resistance level. Okay, so we will watch and see what happens there, see if we get a reset, and then see if the market is ready for price to turn over and push back down to the downside. Okay. Questions on the CAD yen?
Hey, Ryan.
Sir.
Hey, I still got that long from last year on the daily.
Off that
Still
618
playing
level?
out. Because it double bottom. So I'm
Yep.
still projecting that long term to go
You're still looking for
to
the
that D
continue? Okay.
extension. Yeah, to that D extension. Just a long term position trade. It's over like 900 pips.
Man, you
Just
still
because they
holding it. That's
haven't
beautiful.
just because they haven't made a
You haven't made a
that's
change.
still the play. Yeah, they haven't made a change ever since. I mean, when they came back and double bottomed at that 618, so I still had that idea in my mind that it's gonna move to that extension eventually.
Great work, bro.
Gonna take a while for it to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, but I think that's I still think that that's where it's headed. But we'll see what happens when it gets back to 110.66 level, which is like a weekly level. That's where
Yep.
it got rejected last time. So unless it pushes through those levels, which is a weekly and monthly resistance levels, I think that's where it's headed. If it pushes through there, then we're definitely headed to that extension. If not, we may be in somewhat of a range
I dig that.
on that cat. Yeah. hmm
I dig that. Great work, man. Great work, dude. That's a beautiful scenario. Beautiful scenario. Yeah. I'm with it. I'm with it. I can definitely see it happening, especially if they don't change anything before March or April, right? And with the geopolitical tensions and things with the oil, if oil can get some traction, all right, you can definitely see that continue moving. So great work, bro. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So just in my mind on the lower time frames, I'm just any if it's going to continue to head in that direction, any type of pullback to the sweet spot, gives an opportunity to get long. So you don't have to hold it for 900 something pips. It's just letting you know that there's that type of upside potential in the CAD yen. So you just play it accordingly depending on what time frames you like to trade on.
Yep. 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 Beautiful. Joy, you said you're holding this one too? Is that what that's for?
Yep, I had got since July 13th. Well, that trade closed, but then I turned around and opened it back up when that second bottom, and I just been holding it.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Great work. Great work. Great work. Beautiful. Drop some sevens in the chat for Joy and Benny. doing that thing on this CAD yen. I love it. Cool. So that's the CAD yen. Looking for that one to continue to the upside. The Aussie yen. This one is range bound. We also have, right, similar scenario to that CAD yen, right? We have price push to 50% level, moving long, right? Got some levels to break through. We'll see if we're able to do it. Been hovering here for quite some time. So we'll see if we're able to break above that 97,583 and that 98,553 to get moving to the upside there and make its way to the D extension at 104,443. All right. Coming down to your 4, right? You see the range that we've just been in, just moving sideways, trying to push to the upside today. Coming down to the 1, you had your push to the 618 retracement level. We broke our trend lines. We pulled back, right? Now let's see if we can get some momentum and start making our way to the upside here and break these highs. So looking at this one to continue to the upside, we've already broken the trend lines here, right? Inner, middle, came back down, retested that 618 level again, and now we're trying to push to the upside. So if you're not in this one, all right, this is an opportunity for you to, if you trade the C to Ds, there's an opportunity for that move to the upside there on this Aussie yen. Right, it's already pushed out of that 618 level, but making its way to the upside there. Okay. Questions on the Aussie yen? Nope. Yeah, yeah. This one's actually easier to forget about. Easier to forget about, but there it is. All right, cool deal. Let's hop back over. Joy and Reese talking about gold and silver. Let's take a look at gold.
Hey Ryan,
Yes, sir.
if you get a chance before we close out, can you take a look at the Euro Aussie pound Aussie?
Yes, those
Yeah.
are running too. Yep, definitely will.
Mm.
Definitely will. Look at those next. Gold making its way, right? Stalling at the support level. Clean this up a little bit. Right. Came back down, stalling at the support level, right? And see if we get another push to the upside, or do we break this support and continue making our way down to the downside there? Okay. Coming down to the 4. There's our up fib on the 4, right? We got a 786 retracement trying to make its way long, but hasn't been able to break out. So came back down to the support level there. Come down to the 1. Let's see what we got here. Boom. Got an 80-20 scenario there on a sub fib to the downside. Is this the fib that you guys are looking at, Reese and Joy? Yep. All right, cool deal. Right, so you got your AB boundary form there. Got some crazy little wick action there. Then a push down into the 118, 127 zone for a retracement here. Right, so there's an opportunity there on gold if you trade it. All right, let's see if we can get some momentum to push out of that zone and make its way. Yep, I'll drop down there for sure. Make its way to the at least at 382 level there. Okay, come down to the 30. Reset us a cleaner look. Boom. There you go. Pushing out of that 118 level, making its way to the upside there. Okay, so gold trying to move back to the upside, at least in the short term. See if you get that move. Like I said, at least push that 61.8 level in this scenario on the 30. But moving long potentially here. Okay. There you go. So that's gold. Questions on gold? No, no questions.
I'm a little hesitant on it because the down fib is definitely, it's almost to the TP. When you look at the capital fib, so I don't know if we're gonna get that deep of a retracement
Are you
there.
seeing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it moves for sure. Yeah, I definitely understand that thought process, right? Moving to the downside. Do we get a pullback before we continue down, or do we just continue moving to the downside? Yep. I follow you there.
Can you put it on the 4 and drop the cloud?
What fib you looking at on the 4?
I'm looking basically that's still that 30-minute fib.
Okay.
Because I was waiting for the 30 and the 1 to pull back. I use my for gold, I use my SMAs in conjunction with the cloud. And the only hesitant is I think it's gonna, this is just a move up to go down because it's playing around the 200 SMA. And that's where my undecision be coming from. And then if you look at the cloud right there, it just look like it's trying to level out, and then we got a bear cloud right there.
Yeah, yeah, it does look like it's trying to move to the downside for sure. Got the nice break, and I get looking at just this is that setup on the 1 hour and the 30-minute, right? Do you get a pullback and retest that cloud? Right. So I guess that's the question there. But definitely could see this continue moving to the downside, right? It's just a matter of when. Just a matter of when. So interesting scenario. Bearish on it too. I dig it. I dig it. When they move into your zone, take the trade, man. When they move into your zone, take the trade. All right. That's what your rules say. Pull the trigger. So let's see. Let's see how it plays out, right? Do we get a pullback, retest the cloud, and then continue down? Or do we just turn over and make its way down to the downside? Right? I definitely follow the thought process. And that's a nice cloud break there, right? With the bearish cloud ahead. And so, like I said, it's just a matter of do we get a pullback now and make our way, or do we break that support level, then pull back and retest? So we shall see. We shall see. I like it though. I like it. Any other questions or thoughts on gold? No. All right. Cool deal. So that's gold. Let's look at Euro Aussie. Boom. So overall, that's the larger fib there on the Euro Aussie, pressing to the upside here. All right, pressing to the upside. Just shy of this daily resistance level at 166,667. Right, broke a key level here at 164,795. So do we pull back, retest that level, continue to the upside? Shall see here, right? Overall, we're in a deep retracement zone, right? And it's a matter of what happens here, right? What happens here? Coming down to the 4. Here was that move to the upside. Whoops. All right. Talked about this one coming out of the weekend. We got a nice cloud break. pull back to a 50% level, and we're moving long here. Right? So it's how far does it run? How far does it run? Pushing to a 618 retracement level on that capital fib to the downside. So now we watch this to see what happens with the euro and with the Aussie. Coming down to the one, right? So you had your beautiful 618 retracement, beautiful move to the upside and make its way to the D extension. That C to D move played out beautifully. Played out beautifully. Right. So now we're getting a pullback, get a reset here on the 1 hour time frame, and we'll see what that fib looks like. See if we get another opportunity to take this to the upside. Okay. But that was moving beautifully out of the zone there. Beautiful move to the upside. I didn't play that, but off that C to D move, that's 283 pips to the top or to the D extension at 247. So beautiful play there coming out of the weekend as well. Joy's in it to the upside. Beautiful, great work. Great work. And longer term, right? Coming back to this weekly time frame, the play overall coming out of this 118, 127 zone on the weekly time frame has been long, right? So it's just a matter of what happens in this little bit of a range that we've been in for a while, right? Do we make a deeper push, or is it time for this one to break this weekly level and continue its way to that TP1 on the weekly time frame? Right? So that's something to watch and pay attention to there. Okay, so pushing long here. So we'll watch those higher levels and see if we're able to break those and continue moving to that TP1. Okay. Questions on the Euro Aussie? George's in it. Beautiful. Great work.
Instead, long we actually hit a D extension on the 1 hour to the upside.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I did too. Just
247 pip move off that 618.
yep. And then just a thought on just to go back on gold, right? So just I'm favoring it. I'm favoring gold over the long term, just because typically when interest rate cuts come into play, gold typically rallies. So that's one of my plays long term over, over the course of the year, being that we're expecting so many interest rate cuts coming from the central banks. I know there's a huge what to do in regards to how many cuts from the central banks, but the fact of the matter is that everybody's expecting interest rate cuts to occur. So historically, gold typically rallies in environments where interest rates are being cut. That's just from a historical perspective. We've got a lot of other things going on, in regards to wars, elections, the whole nine, but that's just one factor that I keep in the back of my mind with that gold play.
Gotcha. Okay. Definitely something. Definitely something to keep in mind on that. Appreciate that, bro.
No
But
problem.
that makes sense. That actually makes sense, right? Interest rate cuts, dollar potentially moving to the downside as those actually start to come into play. Makes sense then for gold to be the move. Makes sense. We'll do. So that's the Euro Aussie. It's gold. Pound Aussie. Also another one, right? Deep retracement. And this one is actually an interesting scenario. But this was the move here. 618 retracement on the one. Boom. The extension achieved and continued running to 193, 376. And you see we're pulling back now, right? Way overextended. Excuse me. Way overextended. So looking for a pullback to occur. So let's come back real quick here. Daily time frame, we haven't gotten to a 382. Right? We know we got the strength in the pound, so we could potentially continue moving to the upside, but ran into this weekly level, see how price responds. You see on the lower time frame, we're already pulling back. See if we get a nice retracement here. We haven't had one at all as price has been on this crazy run to the upside. Okay, so let's watch that there. That's at a key level. Coming down to the 4, this was an 80-20 scenario that didn't play out, pushed up. So looking for a reset on these, right? We could see price turn over and pull back. Just a matter of how deep does the pullback come, right? How deep does the pullback come? So watching that one also, that like I said, that 1 hour played out to the upside. Now looking for a reset and seeing if we make a move back down to the downside. And what the catalyst is if this one does turn back over and make its way back down out of this 118 level on the daily time frame. Okay. Haven't gotten to a 382 yet. And this has been a strong weekly level, and see if this holds for the 4th time or not. Right. If we get a break above, break retest, and we'll look for price to continue moving along. Next level 197.473. Right. But if we are able to stay below on the daily time frame, right, we could be looking at a decent retracement here at some point. Okay. Questions on the pound Aussie?
I actually have one going back on EA. I
Yeah.
think on my notes, I think we had it marked up for what was a crown on the daily. Is that still, it was either crown or head and shoulders? Was that still active?
On the Euro Aussie?
Yeah, I could have sworn I had to delete my session, so I had to start all over. But I had in my notes that for potential I want to say it was a head and shoulders, but I don't even see it no more. I'm sorry.
Potential inverted crown here,
Yeah.
but we didn't get a deep retracement on this move down. I don't remember on this one.
Hey Ryan,
Yes, sir.
on that Euro Aussie, can you run your fibs from the downside up long?
On the daily,
Yeah.
could be looking at something like that, Joy.
So that's what I'm looking at, that longer daily move off that current
Off the current
AB
smaller.
boundaries. Yeah, I came right into that level. So I had my downtrend lines drawn on that, looking for that brick. So I've been running
Gotcha.
that. I've been running fibs strictly bullish, just fundamentally in regards to right my bias because of the rate cut situation, right?
I
So
follow you.
when you look at between the dollar, the pound, the euro, just in regards to the cuts, I'm looking for the euro to kind of be a late adopter of that, so you can see that if you go from your daily all the way down to your 4, you're getting the you're getting the same look with that inner trend line break and it pushing long. Even on the 4 hour run of your fibs from the upside, you came right around that 61.8 level, and that's what I was sitting waiting on was that trend line break on every single level. So on your 4, it's an even larger move to the upside.
Okay.
On that, right? See that inner trend line break? Yeah, price came out of that buy zone.
Yep. I follow you here.
Right? And so now on your 1, if you track it all the way down through, right, to your 1, because I just wasn't sold on that Aussie string. That's why I played the pound Aussie and that Euro Aussie to the upside so heavy.
I dig it. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. That definitely makes sense. I see it.
Hmm. But again, just playing
Crystal
on
clear.
that. Those are C to D moves. But again, just playing that sweet spot. You know.
Yep. Yep. That's actually a beautiful scenario alignment on all time frames. Yeah. Sweet. Beautiful scenario there. Mm, yeah, great work. Great work. I definitely see it. I didn't have those smaller waves running, so appreciate that, bro. Yeah, Joy, I don't see a crown on this one though. Um, and then here on the pound Aussie, oh, this was a similar move on the pound Aussie, Benny. A larger fib there. Break and move to the upside, right? So we'll see
Yep.
fib to break that and continue moving along. Yep, I follow you.
Right.
8-6 retracement, push to the upside, matching the extension 196, 461. Yep, I follow you. So looking for a break of this level, break, retest, and continuation long. Yep, okay. I got you. I got you. So you're looking for price to at least come back to this daily level at 197, 473 off the 4.
Right. Because off the 4, it broke inner, outer, and a long-term trend line. You see how it broke out of that range. Had that
Yep,
range set up in the rectangle. And you can see how it broke out. And it's just been
yep,
continuing ever since. And just like on the Euro Aussie, on the 1 hour around that 61.8 level, the pound Aussie as well, right? You had that morning star type of scenario that formed on the one right around the 61.8. Euro Aussie, pound Aussie did the same thing pretty much.
yep. I follow you. I follow you. Full deal. Longer term play to the upside on both of those. Full deal. Questions on Euro Aussie, pound Aussie? Yep. Euro Aussie 1 hour.
You see that morning star right at the 61.8 there. That then broke trend line.
Yep. Beautiful scenario then. Looking at this series off of this low. Gotcha. Okay. Looking at the sub fib pull back into the zone there. I got you. Look at that
Yeah,
on the
just be careful
30.
now because you just had the extension hit, right? So that's technically
Yeah.
when that new one forms, which it should have already, you're gonna pull it from that C to that D, right? To that new high.
Yeah, definitely watch that and see, right? You got a 236 level coming in alignment there, but you could also get a deeper retracement on that. Yeah, let's see on the 30. Okay. He's short on that anyway. Off the B boundary.
Makes sense.
Yep, definitely makes sense. The bat signal. Let's see. Yeah, that didn't even come in there. That'll be a new AB boundary there. Yeah, all right. That should be there. Okay, cool deal. Cool deal. Benny, you got your eyes on anything else, bro?
No, man, just I'm still sitting in that. We went over that Euro Swissy. Uh, I'm still sitting in that CAD Swiss.
Yeah, I'm still sitting in that too.
Still sitting in that CAD Swiss, and of course that Aussie CAD. That's what I'm sitting now. I mean, I was playing the pound Aussie and the Euro Aussie on the one. So those extensions have been hit, even though there's a larger move on before. I took those short term extensions in one of my accounts, so just waiting on pullbacks and corrections on those. I expect those to continue long, but that is it for right now. So up pretty decent.
Yes, sir. Cool deal. Team, you guys got anything that you got your eyes on? Anything else? Nope. All right, good people. Great session this morning. Continue to be patient. Continue to allow the market to develop. Right.
Oh, hey
Um,
Ryan,
yes, sir.
sorry about that. Didn't mean to cut you off.
You good?
That NZD USD, that daily 80-20, man. I didn't think I was gonna break that level, but it did, and it's
Did.
coming. Yeah, I didn't think it was a daily level at 61.79. I thought it was gonna hold up for some reason, but it from the daily time frame, which led to that decline. And so if you take that subset about, you can see how that's coming. It's coming right down.
Man, yeah.
There was a daily level there at 61.79, and I was wondering if it was going to collapse it and break through it, and it did. It did. So that's just a higher time frame, longer term
High
80-20
time
that's
frame
playing out.
scenario.
Yeah, it's playing out to the downside. So yeah, just wanted to point that one out. How that just being patient.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Look at
I,
that.
I, I we may I think we may get a retest of that level, that pullback, because you're looking at that setup on a lower time frame.
Yeah, but they hit
But
the extension though.
oh, it did push through.
Yeah. Yep. It pushed
Yeah,
through the extension, got a new AB boundary on.
yeah. I've been watching this from the higher time frame play, but it just goes into that talk, with that led to that strength in that dollar. Especially coming from Waller, just the market pricing in 6 rate cuts, the Fed saying 3. Lending some strength to the dollar. We'll see what happens with, like you say, with that retail. We got retail sales, right?
Yeah, retail
Uh,
sales coming at 8:30.
coming up. So I think we'll eventually get a retest of that level, but it came through it pretty strong though. So
It did.
that one surprised me a bit, but
It
yeah,
did. Straight collapse.
yeah, yeah.
The 15 minute is showing at 80-20. Um,
On the 15, okay, appreciate it. Yeah, it'll run out of steam, correct?
Yep. At some point. At some point. And look for a
Yeah,
pullback, retest, and continuation.
yeah. Appreciate that, Don.
There you go. Yep. That level that it broke comes into line with the 618 retracement there.
Yeah, just play confirmations. Wait for a trend line break. You don't even have to set your trend line. Super aggressive.
Yeah. Cool deal. All right. All right, good people. We'll be back at it tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Premier Access Room. My awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Until then, you guys have a phenomenal Wednesday. Peace.
Thank
Welcome.